And blessed to be a part of your day as we wake up to the rain. Oh, the rain, I have missed you so much. I hope you've missed the rain, which means, what does it mean? It means we're going to have an interesting commute. It's not like pouring down rain, but it's just a little dab, a little drizzle, a little dash to help the lawns, if you will. And yet you'll have some people driving irresponsibly. And we'll get to all that coming up. Blessed to be with you, as we've said. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller in the morning here. And Ray Amaya, I guess here we go. You're always the maestro, the music man. And I think today the theme of the program should be the Billy Joel song, We Didn't Start the Fire. But it continues to burn on and on and on. We have one senator saying Donald Trump is, quote, mean, and he should stop being mean. I don't think Donald Trump started the fire. We also have Senator Cory Booker saying it doesn't matter if Kavanaugh is innocent or guilty.
So my hope is that just beyond the vicious partisan rancor that is going on, beyond the accusations, we don't lose sight of what this moral moment is about in this country. And ultimately ask ourselves the question, is this the right person to sit on the highest court in the land for a lifetime appointment when their credibility has been challenged by intimates, people that knew the candidate well as a classmate, when his temperament has been revealed in an emotional moment where he used language that frankly shocked a lot of us. And then ultimately, not whether he's innocent or guilty, this is not a trial, but ultimately has enough questions be raised that we should not move on to another candidate. And that long list put together by the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society, move on to another candidate, because ultimately the Supreme Court is not an entitlement. Just because you went to Yale or were president of your class doesn't entitle you to the Supreme Court. This is a sacred institution. And the people that should be on it, whether you disagree with their political or judicial philosophy at all, the people who should be on the Supreme Court should preserve the integrity of the court and be beyond the reproach of these difficult partisan times.
There we have it. So you've insulted me, you've made things up, you've destroyed my name, and because I raised my voice as an American male, I should be disqualified. And the fact that I was number one at an Ivy League school, an institution that most Americans could not get into, that disqualifies me. This is the argument that the Democratic Party has. This is what we're up against, and this is, well, our way of waking you up at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So if you listen to Senator Booker's logic, which we'll break down here in a minute, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I'm sorry, Mr. Kavanaugh, Justice Kavanaugh, you should be disqualified. And here's another one. When, in fact, you go back to the bench that you were at, we are going to sit back and we're going to investigate you there, because you should not be on the Supreme Court. You shouldn't be on the district court. You shouldn't be anywhere. We're going to make sure that you're done, right? And we're going to make sure that you, in fact, we destroy your life again and again and again. I love the logic of Cory Booker. Now, if you're wondering what is going on, what is the very latest, well, as you heard from Fox News here on KIDO Talk Radio, the Senate does have this report. Now, look, this is the 7th investigation of Brett Kavanaugh. Did you ever have somebody that you knew that just was a good person? Did you ever have somebody that was honorable? You know what I'm talking about. The old term that they use east of the Great River. Boy Scout. Eagle Scout. A person of impeccable principle. And then to have these lies made up about him, it's gotta stop, in my opinion. What's yours? 580-5436, 580-KID. We're going to break down Cory Booker's comments You're going to hear from a lot of folks today, plus our friends from Fox News Radio. But I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, how in the world can you do this? How in the world can you sit back and say to yourselves, bright lights, big city, that this is going to happen to, in fact, a man that has done nothing wrong? It's just based on unsubstantiated allegations. Let's get the latest from our own Rachel Sutherland on Fox News Radio.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell filed cloture late last night, officially limiting debate on Judge Kavanaugh's nomination, starting a countdown to a possible vote this weekend.
It's time to put this embarrassing spectacle behind us.
Senators will have 30 hours to give their closing arguments. 51 votes are needed to confirm Judge Kavanaugh. Republicans can only afford to lose one vote before the vice president would have to step in and break a tie, something that has never happened before for a U.S. Supreme Court nominee. In Washington, Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
Thank you, Rachel. So there we have it. And I love the logic. And you're going to have people saying Kavanaugh should be disqualified. For what? What did Judge Kavanaugh actually do that was wrong, that anybody can prove? Absolutely nothing. That is one topic. Another topic in the Treasure Valley, since it's raining this morning, I've had a lot of friends recently opine about the traffic situation. I had a young lady, very close associate of the broadcast center, went out after owning her old car for, 15, 20 years, something like that. Went out, brought a brand new, fancy-dancy SUV. And I don't blame this individual. She works hard. She spends a lot of time in her car. She wants, the very best. Had her car 2 weeks, and all of a sudden, you guessed it, boom. Somebody on their phone, texting, gave her the rear end. The other day, somebody driving down the road in a Beamer on their phone. Again, craziness. Yesterday, I'm driving around on Fairview looking to make a left-hand turn to go see our friends at Garden Plaza of Valley View, to tape the Garden Plaza Valley View Welcome Home show. And this car is driving very slow. Well, as this red little car passes me, you've got a lady, maybe in her mid-20s, wearing glasses, driving with one hand on the wheel, the other hand on her phone. Clearly, we don't want more government overreach. But what do you do when the citizens of the Treasure Valley, not all, but a significant amount that increases the jeopardy of our property and our health and everything else, continue to act irresponsibly? Now, didn't we come up with some law that you can't be on the phone and driving, or you can't text and drive? And remember our great legislature, it took those guys and gals 2 or 3 years to get that through. You have the CEOs of, and this is the cool thing about being here. If you're just tuning in, I'm just giving you a little history here. If you just moved into the area and you're new and you go, wow, what is this KIDO Talk Radio? So and maybe you've come from another state where the driving restrictions on phones and vehicles is a little bit more restrictive. And you're thinking, I can't believe all these idiots, and they are idiots, that are driving with their phones. And who hasn't done it? I've got to text somebody, got to get back to them at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So I sit there, and I'm thinking to myself, we have the CEOs of every major Treasure Valley corporation in partnership with Channel 7 have these wonderful public service announcements. We had Dee Sarton. We had Carolyn Holly. We had other people talking about texting and driving and going to texting and driving school and telling us about the bad effects of it. And did it have an impact? Most likely not. So now it's up to, I guess it's up to the legislature, and maybe it's up to state law enforcement to lobby to have a tougher law that if you're on your phone, it has to be hands-free. Now, I understand we have a state of limited government, limited resources, but when you have people just flaunting safety, I think last night, what was it, on Old State Street, Highway 44, is that right? Between Star and Middleton, you had a big accident last night. Could have been avoided. To me, if you're not going to obey the rules, then you have to have tough rules and they have to be enforced. You know that when you go to Oregon and you go over the speed limit, they have very, very high fines. You know that when you go to Nevada and, hands-free. For me, what's the harm of a hands-free law? I know what you're going to say, Kevin. Conservatives shouldn't want more government. Okay, if people are not going to act responsibly and their phones are so addicting, because I've got to get that feedback, I've got to get that like on Facebook, I've got to see how many tweets I've gotten, that I'm driving a 5,000-pound vehicle, that I'm distracted. And let's face it, most people, it's tough to keep their attention when they're just speaking, never mind driving, never mind texting and driving. Right? So I would hope that some responsible legislator would take a look at doing something. But you're on the roads. I'd love to hear from you. So we have Cory Booker. We'll get back to his comments. Kavanaugh is done. It doesn't matter. He's a mean-spirited partisan. Oh, my goodness. And then we have this issue involving safe roads, one national, one local, both impacting our lives. And I love how the senators, the Republicans, are going, oh, Dr. Ford was good. Oh, we love the Me Too movement. Well, you take a look at Matt Damon. Matt Damon's a big movie star, had one good movie, Good Will Hunting. Okay, the Rainmaker, the Grisham movie with Danny DeVito. Matt Damon owes his career, his money, his fame to Harvey Weinstein. You remember good old Harvey Weinstein? You remember Harvey Weinstein and what he's been accused of, how he's been run? Matt Damon had the audacity to mock Judge Kavanaugh. Sooner or later, the Hollywood elites have to pay for their disrespect of the heartland, don't they? Because he was the last call of the day and got short-shifted, Max returns with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Max, top of the morning to you.
Good morning to you, my friend. Oh, it's not a matter of short-shifted. I was rewarded by listening to your program.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Listen, I want to talk about this texting while driving because it really makes me crazy. But don't we already have a law about distracted driving?
We do. Obviously, it's not very effective.
No, but what I'm saying is we don't need to legislate another law to specifically cover, texting when distracted driving covers everything from balancing a cup of coffee in your lap to playing with your telephone in this phone-addicted generation. We really don't need another law. What do you say?
Then how do we stop what they're doing now?
Distracted driving. I see someone driving down the road and she's got her head tucked or he's got his head tucked into the phone and they're playing with one hand. I can call that distracted. Pull you over, write you up. I was sitting behind a lady 2 days ago at a traffic light. The light went green.
Oh, that's my favorite. Yeah.
And we sat there, and I decided, okay, I'll give her a gentle toot on the horn. By the way, California tags. A little toot. She rolled her window down, flipped me off, went back to her phone. So I quietly pulled up alongside her, rolled the window down. She gave me a look, and I just said, stupid lady, go back to California. And I drove on. But as I drove on, the light was changing. She was still sitting in the middle of the traffic. We're talking on Glenwood, for Pete's sake. Glenwood is one of the busiest thoroughfares in the valley. And she just stopped at the light because she has to finish her text.
That's more important. Yeah, you're exactly right.
And I guess my biggest wonder personally is, how can people be so addicted to their... My friend calls me on the phone. He says, hey, I've been calling you. Why haven't you answered? And I tell him, because I don't keep the phone with me all the time. What? You don't keep the phone with you? As far as I'm concerned, this phone has a wire on it, and I treat it like that. I'll turn it off at night. Middle of the day, I'll leave it at home. I don't believe in being so attached to anything, except my wife. She's listening. I don't believe in being attached to anything except my life, my family, and listening to Kevin Miller in the mornings on KIDO, AM and FM.
Max, thank you. You have a great day.
You too, my friend.
All right. Conservative Steve joins us now. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.
Oh, this is Jerry. I told Ray my name was Jerry.
Well, that's okay. Sorry, Jerry. My apologies. Go ahead, please.
No worries. Hey, I was just letting you know. I drive. I haul heavy equipment around the valley all day long, every day, and I see it every day, all day long, every day. I've watched firsthand people beside me texting and driving and crash into somebody right in front of them. I giggle a little bit when I see it happen, but I feel bad for the person in front of them. But, and I have in a commercial vehicle, there's already a hands-free law where you cannot be on your telephone unless it's hand-free. And I don't see the convenience of texting while driving, because I can text while driving by pushing a button on the side of my ear and saying, text Kevin Miller, how you doing today? And it'll text you, how you doing today? So I don't think a law is going to make any more difference, because I've been to Oregon and seen people texting and driving, and they have a hands-free.
Right.
So.
Well, what about enforcing the penalties? Because these folks cannot seem to understand driving responsibly.
I think enforcing the law that we already have is a great idea, but I don't know how to make that happen. I've been beside cops and pointed at the person in front of them. They roll down their window and say, hey, they were on their phone 10 seconds ago. And they, okay, thanks. They roll up their window and they leave. It's like, guys, come on, guys. Let's do something.
I appreciate it.
And we don't need a cell phone law. There's been a law on the books for years called inattentive driving. And I know that's a pretty harsh penalty right there.
I don't know. I think only a new law is going to shock people. And then having the police officers enforce it. And look, I'd rather have the police officers doing something else, but I believe it's getting to a point where action has to be taken and consequences have to be enforced.
I agree. And there is, the law enforcement is, you've got your traffic guys who their primary job is to drive around and catch speeders and catch people doing things wrong in traffic. And then you've got the other guys doing the other work. But, I have to disagree that you need another law. Just enforce the ones we have.
Well, Jerry, we appreciate you listening and your phone call this morning on KIDO Talk Radio.
Thank you, Kevin. You have a great day.
You too. All right. Great to hear from Jerry. Matt, John, and Barb, you all next. Stay tuned. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Back to your phone calls. Let's go to Matt in Caldwell with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. Hey, and I just wanted to comment. I guess two of the other guys ahead of me kind of beat me to the punch. I use a hands-free device quite often. Commercial truck driver, it's required. You can't use your phone. But one of my favorite things as a commercial truck driver that we love to have is the good old-fashioned air horn. I use it quite a bit in Boise. I tell you what, when a person's not paying attention to what they're doing and that light turns green, I give them a 3-second roll. In 3 seconds, they need to make that determination to use that right foot of theirs to get moving, or else they get the horn. And I tell you what, it makes people come alive, and also it makes them very aware that me as a 65,000-pound missile right behind them, and they decide to take a left-hand turn but stop in the middle of the road instead of using the turn lane, they get the horn. And most of the time, every time I see one of those people, they're always on their phone, texting or calling or something. It's amazing, like their whole life is attached to that phone. But I gotten so brazen about it that in my little tiny Toyota pickup truck, I installed the train horn. And I tell you what, it wakes up people very well, and it gets their attention real quick. And then I usually don't have to use it. I may use it once every 2 or 3 months, but it works.
All right, Matt. I don't know if I can top that. Thank you for. So you would urge people to do that? I mean, some would say that you'd be escalating the situation.
I've actually pulled up to people with a pickup truck or something like that that's had a train horn installed in their vehicle, and a person's not moving or not paying attention to the road or swerving into a lane, and man, they hit that train horn and it gets their attention right now.
Matt, thank you for the call.
No problem.
Quickly to John in Middleton with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. I also drive around the valley for my job, and it's one of the most dangerous things to do nowadays because I have to view it like there's just a bunch of drunks on the road. No matter what time of day you're driving, you can never, ever put your guard down. You have to drive offensively. You have to drive defensively. You have to be very alert. And I have narrowly missed multiple head-on collisions on these roads where people think it's safe because, it's just a long stretch of straight. I can see all the way down, in front of me, and they think they can put their head down on their phone. Before they know it, they're drifting over into another lane, and it is very dangerous, and I see it every day. And in terms of what to do, I don't know. I mean, I think it should be something maybe we consider making it acceptable to publicly sham these people in some way. Take a picture of them or just make it socially reprehensible to be a distracted driver and be buried in your phone because it's just so dangerous, and it's one of my biggest annoyances, and it's way worse than a pet peeve because it's so dangerous. I worry about my wife, my child, driving even to Winco or to Target or wherever it is because it can just happen anywhere, and it does happen everywhere at all times of the day. It's a major problem. It is very dangerous. So I'm glad you're bringing awareness to this, and hopefully a solution that is effective can be found. Thank you, Kevin. Have a great day.
John in Middleton, thank you. Very, very real-life concerns from John. We'll talk about it next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, Kevin.
And coming up, we'll hear from Barb in Sunny Slope. Hang on, Barb. First to Capitol Hill. Rachel Sutherland has been patiently standing by from Fox News Radio on KIDO Talk Radio. Rachel, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Kevin.
So here we have it, the FBI report. The Senate can take a look at it, but they're under pretty much unique rules on this one.
Yeah, they're locked down. Washington has become the city that never sleeps. This FBI report was being handed overnight. And the senators, they're behind closed doors. They're not allowed to take cell phones in. There's only one copy, and Republicans and Democrats will take turns reading it. So it's supposed to be all uber top secret. But you know how things are around D.C. Things start leaking. So I wouldn't be surprised if we hear something. The White House has said that the report shows that there's no corroboration of the sexual assault claims against Judge Kavanaugh. So right now, we expect eventually these senators will start viewing and then coming out of the room where reporters are roving around trying to get a word from them. We'll see if they do.
Well, and a lot of folks don't understand. They go in this era of cell phones. How can you not have that? I mean, if you go into the House chamber, for instance, as a spectator, there are very significant rules. You have security there, and they look. You turn over everything, and you go through the metal detector. And so we could possibly see this. And there has been some speculation, Rachel, that you might have some senators, maybe through their memory, maybe they write something down, might make these FBI reports on Judge Kavanaugh public by speaking on the Senate floor.
And it could be that, remember Cory Booker's Spartacus moment. Would someone pull something like that? Anything is possible. And, their comments will be very telling when they come out. If they do give comments and they know that some Democratic senators plan some kind of news conference later in the day. Just watch what they say. It'll tell you a lot.
How do we see this progressing? I know Mitch McConnell has an agenda here, not an agenda, but a real agenda, like how things are going to go or how he'd like them to go.
That's right. Yeah, last night he did something called file for cloture, which simply means he will lead a vote to limit debate, and that could happen tomorrow. That sets the clock running for 30 hours essentially for lawmakers to give their closing arguments. That could tee up a possible vote Saturday night, so working through at least part of the weekend. And there are 3 senators out there who really people are keeping a real close eye on: Jeff Flake, Susan Collins, and Lisa Murkowski. Also, maybe Joe Manchin of West Virginia, because he wanted to see the report, too, before he decided. And so Republicans can lose 1 and then, the vice president would step in and cast a vote to break a tie. Now, that's never happened before for a U.S. Supreme Court nominee, so that would make history. And but if another goes, then you're looking at some trouble for Republicans. And it is definitely Mitch McConnell's job, and really all of leadership, like the majority whip, to literally whip the votes into place.
Sure.
And so that's what they're doing now.
Rachel, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, Rachel Sutherland joining us. Your thoughts, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Barb in Sunny Slope joins us now. Barb, good morning. Thanks for your patience.
Well, I was just appalled by Cory Booker's comments this morning. I cannot believe that they're thinking this. The guilty until accused concept is real. I am so offended by his comments that he would make something like that, and that they're going to continue to attack him no matter what happens. No matter what happens. I don't know what we do with that.
Well, that's really what it comes down to. It just doesn't matter. And now they're saying the president has to stop being mean. Yeah,
really? You want to talk about being mean. It's the other side that is just brutal. Just brutal. And I just am appalled that we have these people in Congress. I really am. That can't think, that can't follow the Constitution, that are carrying this on just too far. Just too far.
Well, we thought they would go to great depths, and we didn't think they'd go this far. It really comes down to, Barb, when you're in a fight, how committed are you?
That's true. Obviously, they are committed, and I'm thankful that Kavanaugh is committed. I really am, but I'm so sad for the idea that the fact that when he gets in, let's say it that way, that they're just going to continue. They are just going to continue.
They're never going to stop.
They're never going to stop, and it's just appalling, just appalling. And a comment on the texting while driving thing. I don't tend to watch Shark Tank. It's just not my kind of show. But I did happen to flip through it once, and I was shocked there that a group of high school teenagers from a tech school developed a steering wheel that would make it impossible to text while you drove. And I was shocked because it could measure the distance between your hands, and of course they used both thumbs, and you could not text, and yet Shark Tank turned that down. It's very possible, apparently, to make a steering wheel that you cannot text. Now, it doesn't avoid reading the text. Well, maybe it would. But, since that technology is available and possible even by high school students, maybe somebody should be looking into this, some car manufacturer. I would be thrilled if I had teenagers in such
And if people are just tuning in, we started the program with 2 issues, and we'll play Cory Booker's comments again that Barb was commenting on. So it doesn't matter if Kavanaugh's innocent or guilty, he's done, number one. Number two, this issue involving driving, I was just relaying some personal stories, and the distracted driving law is not having an impact. Here's the deal. Barb, you ever been involved in education?
Yes.
Okay. You ever just see a kid, and the kid didn't have a chance because his parents are just bad?
No, a lot of them.
Right. And we hate to write people off, but whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's at church, wherever, there are just some people that we like to call them the LCD, the lowest common denominator.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't sit there and judge, but, we make an evaluation. People that, are not concerned about anybody but themselves, not concerned about anybody but, being on the phone. And now, Boise has these scooters that Meridian kicked out of town. That's another thing to worry about. It is so, if you are a responsible person, and no matter how diligent you are, there are sometimes you see the crazy bike riders going by. Now you're going to have the crazy scooters. So couple that with the people that are so unintelligent, so selfish. And that's what it is. It's them being selfish to be on their phones that they endanger the rest of us. And, as like Matt said, he gives them a big honk. I just give them a little, otherwise they're going to flip you off and come out and get you.
Yeah.
It's
no
crazy.
kidding. I saw that as dangerous.
But when we talk about, what to do, I have to say that there has to be some type of consequence. You do it in Oregon, you pay the price. You do it in Nevada, you pay the price. And yeah, it's kind of like a police state, but I'm sure their accidents have gone down quite a bit.
And you mentioned the idea of the scooter. So my visualization was right there. The kid on the scooter, and the parent driving the car on the cell phone, and then the person who's been drinking or on opioids or forbid we get recreational marijuana into this state. Can you just imagine? Are we going to have anybody left? The irresponsible people all put together in one spot. We're just going to start wiping people out.
Well, it's like HempFest on steroids, and the HempFest people keep reminding me, wanting me to go there at the library this Sunday. And look, I'm not going around a bunch of people smoking hemp, smelling, and telling me. I guess Paulette Jordan's going to be there, so I guess I could meet her. But I'm not going around pro-pot people. Just not going to happen.
I agree. I'm very concerned about that. I know what's happened in Colorado, and I just, having lived there and seen it firsthand, I just am very disappointed that we might actually get that. But as you say, add that to the rest of the irresponsible people, and we're just going to start really hitting them off. We really are. But, that just continues, that irresponsibility continues when you think about the people on the street,
sure,
or whether you think about the people in Congress, because these people are being irresponsible. They really are.
Barb, I got to run, but thank you.
You're very welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Our great friend Barb Sunnyslope from New Hampshire. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Thank you so much, Rehemiah. There we have it. I think that's the new theme of Idaho of America. We didn't start the fire. We didn't start the attack on Kavanaugh. We didn't start the attacks on Trump. I love it that the libs, Senator Hirano, Senator Harris, and others saying, well, the president has to stop being mean. Cory Booker, Kavanaugh can't do it. He's mean. He raised his voice at me. Where's your man card, Senator Booker? Can you even ask that question anymore? Liberty Linda joins us now, KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Good morning, Liberty Linda.
Good morning, Kevin. He's a conservative. That's what Kavanaugh did wrong. The Dems are shaking in their boots. A conservative court will throw out Roe versus Wade. And did you see what the Soros-paid protesters did to the conservative protesters? I guess if you're a conservative, you're not allowed to protest anymore because they'll come by and they'll rip up your signs. Did you see that on television?
You'll have to tell us. No, I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a bunch of conservatives out saying that they were for Kavanaugh and they were holding their signs up. And these other Soros-paid protesters came by and they actually ripped the signs out of the conservatives' hands, ripped them up. They were not allowed to protest. They were not allowed to protest for and behalf of Kavanaugh. I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
It sounds like Obama's America back again.
Well, yeah. I'm sure a lot of your listeners saw it too. But how far are they going to go? That's what I want to know. How far are they going to go? So anyway, the good
Well, I
news
mean,
is,
what we're seeing is a preview of impeachment. That's really what we're seeing. This isn't the main course. This is just the appetizer because the libs with their alleged blue wave, they want to get the Trump.
well, the thing is, they're losing in every category. They cannot lose this. They know that they can't lose the court. They're going to be out. Look at already with President Trump going around to these different states, the votes are changing to the Republicans, and every single state, and well, the Dems see that. So the good news is that hopefully our Senate will not be pushed back again. They seem like that they're holding firm, and they're going to go ahead and have the vote this weekend. And we just, we're just sitting out here praying that we don't know what Flake's going to do. But we hope the other ladies will go ahead and vote for Kavanaugh. And so we're still sitting on pins and needles here and hope that our Senate will do the right thing. I mean, this wonderful person, and, we're all out here having nervous breakdowns watching this circus. And, we hope that we can have a little calm in our lives for a while. And so we thank you, Kevin. Every morning we can tune in and listen to Common Sense on your show. And Kevin, you're always in my prayers.
Well, you're in my prayers, Liberty Linda. I got to run, but thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.